So CiA profiles under development. This I can shorten this to keep the timeline.
We are just in the time. Sorry.
We are just in time. Okay. Then I will introduce a little bit about the device interface and application profiles and define them. Then we're looking which CiA technical groups are dealing with this. And we go through the generic device profiles, application-specific device profiles, lift and other application profiles. And last but not least, on vehicle body application profiles and interface profiles. I don't know what the attendants are interested in. That is a little bit difficult for me than to spend for things which are not in your interest sometime. And because I don't know that, so I will please interrupt me if you are really interested in in more detail. Okay, so let's start with the different profile types which we support in CiA. We have the device profiles. This was which we start with. They specify the application parameters, process configuration, diagnostic data, as well as the mapping to an application layer. Normally, this would be classical CAN-open, KNFD, or J939, or of a single device. So this is just the interface and the viewpoint of a single device. Application profiles, in opposite, specify all functional unit interfaces of a specific network application. This includes also a pre-configured cross-communication between the functional units. In device profiles, if you want to have direct communication between different entities, then you need to specify this by means of configuration. Application profiles, this is for a default behavior or a pre-configured. Interface profiles, this is the third type of profiles which we provide. They specify the classic CAN-open or CAN-FD mapping to other communication technologies. This normally are gateways. This includes also the configuration of network infrastructure components, bridges and switches and routers. Normally, devices with interface profiles do not provide directly access to a physical process as sensors and actuators are doing, because they are just components in the entire network system. In the CiA, we have different technical groups, and you see here the diagram which technical groups we have. And the interest group profiles is responsible to coordinate all the developments within the special interest groups and maybe sometimes in the related task forces for I/O modules, drive and motion control, lift control, etc. I will go to this in more detail. Of course, we need to consider the classical CAN-open and CAN-open FD and J939 interest groups. If we map something, then we should use the expertise of those groups in minimum, that they give us advice how to do it and how to do it better. So the interest group profiles has a scope and work plan. The scope is that the profile that we establish a special interest group to avoid double specifications, and we approve also in the IG profile the draft specifications developed by those special interest groups. The interest group is responsible for the entire series of 400, and maybe sometimes also for other documents. And mainly we include also the classical CAN-open FD at J939 mapping to different applications. It could be in the future also more. The work plan for this year, maintaining the document series. This is a very long list. And we also have some of the documents are not more assigned to special interest group and task forces, so the interest group has to do it by themselves. So we approve those things, and this can be requested by the special interest groups or by the CiA Technical Committee or by the CiA Board of Directors. We also introduce, and the work plan, inclusive language to all our documents, because you know that there are terms which are not more in favor to be used, like master slave, like female and male, etc. And we are in this process, but I think we have achieved already 80% to migrate to the inclusive language, as ISO and IC are doing and other organizations. What we also have introduced this year or the last year is a new CiA profile document structure. We have the new cover sheets explaining a little bit more improved titles. We have a forward and introduction sections, give you some additional information on the documents which are not part of the specification itself. We have also a new numbering schema. So we use 400XX-B for functional behavior and parameters. Then we have separated this for the mapping to classical CAN-open, and the mapping to CAN-open FD, and the mapping to JN39 where appropriate. This is still in progress. This is not done for all the documents in the moment, but you see that we will have more and more documents following this new profile document structures. We also have new document states. We have a work draft, and work draft could be anything. And when it is first time internally in the CiA released, it's called draft specification proposal. And if this is also given to the outside as for subscription against a fee, then it's called draft specification. And if this document is very mature, then we will release it as a public available specification free of charge. We also have technical reports, and some technical reports are also under the patronage of the CiA profile interest group. There are application notes or implementation guidelines. Which special interest groups are approved and are active? We have the special purpose car add-on devices special interest group. They specify body applications for taxis, police car, etc. We have the contrast media injector, a special interest group. We have the special interest group for drives and motion control. This includes several inverters, servo and stepper motors. We have one dedicated special interest group for encoders and inclumeters. Another one for energy management systems, mainly intended for light electrical vehicles, but not limited to that. We have also the firefighting special interest group defining body application equipment or interfaces to them. We have fluid power. This is mainly for hydraulics, so it could be valves, or it could be also closed loop controllers or servo controllers. We have the generic I/O module special interest group describing, specifying generic I/O modules which are modular. We have then one group dealing with the I/O link interface profile, another one which specifies the profile for elevators and for control system, lift control systems, measuring devices, municipal vehicles. These are refuse collecting vehicle equipment mainly for collecting the garbage. We have another one which is very active for subsea. These are the tree systems on the ocean ground to protect the exploration of oil and gas. We have a truck gateway, a special interest group specifying for commercial vehicles the gateway to the body applications. And we have a special interest group for weighing devices and systems. There are also three dormant special interest groups. The special interest group building door control is dormant and should be awaked sometime for systematic review of the related CiA 416 series, which should be in motion to draft specification. The SiC power supply is the same, should be awaked so that we can move the CiA 453 device profile for power supplies to the draft specification status. The SiC rail vehicles is also a group which will be awaked this year, we hope so, and they will systematically review all the documents from in the series 421, 423, etc., because also they need to be updated because they are quite old. To initiate this, we organize a workshop where you may participate as member, or we also invite interested parties to participate in the workshop to discuss what is needed in the systematic review to get an understanding what is new, what is missing, etc. And this is scheduled on the 30th of September. The generic profiles, and if you have an interest, please interrupt me so that you can get more information on that. The CiA 401 document series is under revision and will be made ready for the new structure, for the new document structures. 402 is the same. This is international, also internationally standardized, and we are working on the updating for the international standard. CiA 404 is still not that much activity. 406 and 410, the profiles for encoders and includometers, so they are ready to be released soon for following the new document structures. The same is for CiA 408 for the hydraulic components, or the fluid power devices, which is the official name. This is also under revision. What is not just touched is the CiA 418 and CiA 419 profiles for battery devices and battery chargers. This still may request some new features and maybe some corrections, but there is no activity in the moment. We have also application-specific device profiles, which are dedicated to an application field. In this case, we have the CiA 425 document for contrast media injectors. This group is still active and has some enhancement and improvements. If you are in this business, then you may ask for additional information. We have the container handling add-on devices. I think this profile is quite stable and mature. The same is for the RFID devices and for the pumps and for the item detection devices. But we received recently a request to include also radar sensors to this profile, or to have a separate profile for radars. But this is still in progress. As I said already, application profiles are different because they describe the entire network application by means of functional units. The first, which we have developed, was in the mid of the 90s, was CiA 407 for public transportation, road vehicles, scheduling and control systems. Normally, you will call this passenger information systems, and this is given as a technical specification as a European level. We have then, which I have already mentioned, the building doors control system application profile. There we need to reawake the group to improve and to update the documents, which is one of our most important. This is why it is highlighted in bold. The CiA 417 lift control application profile. This group is very active, and I think this is one of the best application profiles which we have. They do also regularly plugfest to prove the interoperability of the implementations from different manufacturers. And I think we have scheduled the 20th plugfest already for September this year. And there are still some updates for the 417 profile. CiA 420 profile series is mature. It's used for extruder downstream devices like source, like a second or extruder and different tables. We have also multiple CiA profiles for rail vehicle applications. I mentioned that they are quite old, more than 10 years, and they need to be updated. But on the other hand, the door is a door, a train door is a train door, and maybe not have that much new features. CiA 434 profile for laboratory automation is also a mature system. I think there is no real activity in the moment. The same is with the photovoltaic system. To be honest, there are not that many people who have implemented this application profile because there was a proprietary solution based on Modbus TCP in more favor of those companies. Where we have also a very active application profile is for CiA 443, which is the subsea tree systems. There are a lot of companies involved in that, and they improve the profile regarding battery and other functions which have not been yet specified in this profile. CiA 454 profile, which is the energy management system for pedelecs and other battery powered systems, is partly internationally standardized, and that's also something which can be used from the scratch. We have also some profiles for weighing systems, CiA 461 for onboard weighing system on trucks or other vehicles. Interface profiles, we have, as mentioned already, the interface for commercial vehicles to the in-vehicle network, so that a bodybuilder can have access to the in-vehicle network information, or can send some request to the base vehicle, the truck. We have a profile for RS interface, we have a profile for IO link, and we have also a profile for wireless transmission. If you're using any kind of wireless transmission, you can use the CiA 457 profile to get access to those wireless networks. And last but not least, we have the CiA 456 profile for configurable network components. This includes routers, switches, as well as bridges. If you want to configure them, or the different CAN channels, we are going to update this document regarding CAN-FD and maybe also CAN-XL. Just a few words on the vehicle body application profiles, because there are several on the market and it's quite complex. We have the CiA 447 profiles for passenger cars, for add-on devices, as I mentioned, for taxis, ambulances, and police cars. This is sometimes used in different countries. We have the CiA 442 profiles, which is also international standard, is published as a European standard for refuse collecting equipment. This includes lifting units, compaction units, etc. We have also the onboard weighing devices specified in CiA 459, which also can be used for different purposes. And not released by, or not responsible, not released by CiA, but by the Dean, we have the 4630 profile, which describes the body application network for based on JNA39 or Classic CAN Open. And we have the Dean 14700 profile for firefighting equipment based on Classic CAN Open. Just to give you an overview how this could look like, here you see a firefighting truck body application example. You see that you have in the vehicle several ECUs. So they are connected to the in-vehicle gateway unit. And this is connected to the DIN 4630 network, which could be based on JNA39 or CAN Open. And Iveco is providing a CAN Open interface, and all the other manufacturers in Europe provide a JNA39 interface. And then you can connect a fleet management unit or a telematic gateway unit and additional other things like an PTO power take-off manager or an air suspension unit or an outrigger control unit or an aero working platform, and that what is specified as fire CAN unit with a lot of sub-layered CAN Open connected devices like inverters, like pumps, like the signals, the signal units, and so on. So you see that the red marked interface are not yet standardized. Only the green ones are standardized or partly standardized. So this means we need to do something. One of my favorite is the electronic power take-off manager unit. This needs to be standardized when we have then some electrical powered vehicles, commercial vehicles, then we have maybe not more a combustion engine, but then we have an electrical engine, we have batteries and so on. Then we need additional functions for the PTO manager unit. Just a different view, more related to the DIN for the firefighting trucks. You see that on the sub-layered DIN 14700 network, which is called FireCane, we have a lot of different specified devices. This is also, so to say, an application profile, not under the patronage of CiA, but still I'm the editor of this, and I try to keep the documents quite stable and related to CanOpen, which was not in the past the case. Okay, coming to the end. Are there questions from your side?